Hello. So today we're going to talk about how often we should be posting on Instagram and the best way to actually use social media within your content marketing strategy. And this is something that I've been a lot recently as I've been having conversations with clients, with members of my community, and even just as I'm planning out my own content for myself and doing my own batch weeks, I'm having these realizations that what was working is no longer working. And what we used to try to do is no longer feasible or realistically even helpful any longer. So, for those that haven't met me, I'm Amanda Warfield. I'm a simplicity focused content marketing strategist, the author of the book Chasing Simple Marketing, and the creator of Chasing Simple Marketing, the community. I'm so glad you're here today. Like I said, we're going to be talking all about how we actually should be using social media marketing right now in 2024, July 2024, and what we can make, the changes we can make today, essentially, for what we're going to be doing with our own content marketing. So I'm curious for those that are here live, for those that are watching later, how are you feeling about social media marketing? Just let me know in the chat, in the comments, what are your current thoughts on social media marketing? Um, while I wait for those answers to come in, I'll be really say I'm over it. As a content marketing strategist, it's what's the word I want to use? My least favorite type of marketing because it's very, very time consuming and you get not awesome results all the time, especially if you do not have a large audience and especially if you are only using social media for organic marketing and not um, if you're not running ads, essentially. Okay, Octavia said, not a huge fan, but I do it because I have to. And I think that right there, that's something we're going to cover today, Octavia, because that's such an important part of this is a lot of us started our businesses in the pre-pandemic era. And in that era, social media was a lot, those of us that started within the pandemic, social media was a lot different than where those of us that start our business then, we are clinging to those old beliefs and those old notions when they don't apply any longer. So what I mean by that is when I started my business in 2018, Instagram was the thing, right? This was kind of towards the end of the blogging heyday. People still had blogs, people were still teaching other people how to have blogs, but we weren't using blogs in the same way as we were before. They were primarily an SEO tool and primarily used for, um, you know, basically Pinterest, running people to your blog from Pinterest and gaining new cold traffic that way. Anyone who started in a similar era, let me know in the chat. But um, that was kind of the end of the blogging heyday. People were podcasts were like just then becoming like the big thing. And Instagram was starting to become more of the big thing. People were still using Facebook groups. People were using Facebook pages a lot still. They were going live on their Facebook pages. That was a very commonly shared marketing strategy is go live on your Facebook page every single day for 5 minutes. That was kind of where we were. And with Instagram at that time, you were encouraged to post to your feed every single day. I'm not even sure. We did have stories. We did have stories. We definitely didn't have IGTV or Reels or anything like that yet. And I think stories might have been kind of new at that point. I could be wrong. Someone fact check me on that. Maybe they weren't all that new. But when I started my business, that's kind of what we had. And you were encouraged post to your feed every single day. And people were commenting, they were stopping and reading the captions on feeds. It was primarily, we weren't really using carousel posts, we weren't using a ton of graphics yet. It was primarily just pretty pictures, very heavy on branded imagery, brand photos, and people were stopping and reading the captions. They were commenting, they were responding. There was tons of engagement. That was like the heyday for Instagram, right? And I think a lot of us are still clinging to that. Then we move into the pandemic era where a lot of businesses are getting started. And frankly, we are all at home on our phones, doom scrolling, right? And this is where things start to change. We are still heavily invested in social media, but we're starting to engage less and consume more. Because of that doom scrolling, we are starting to um, look at what other people are posting, but not necessarily engage, not comment, not say as much. Stories, huge during this time. Great for engagement. That's really where things were at. Um, and it was really, you were making sales in the stories, and you were making sales on Instagram in general, right? Um, that has changed. Here in 2024, making sales on Instagram is more difficult. Getting engagement on Instagram is more difficult. People are heavily consuming and not engaging much at all. Very low engagement rates. And this is across the board with all of my clients. I have clients with massive followings. I have clients with small followings. This is just what we're seeing across the board. Engagement is low for everyone. Um, and now we have all of these different ways we can post to Instagram. We've got carousel posts, we've got graphics, we've got reels, we've got stories, we've got all of these different ways, right? And not only is it overwhelming for us to create, if you feel overwhelmed by social media and by Instagram in general, let me know. But not only is it overwhelming for us to create, it's overwhelming for our audience to consume. And what we've talked about a lot in the community lately on our weekly calls is that when we look at our own habits, we find ourselves not really scrolling the feed. We rarely scroll the feed, and when we do, we're not typically stopping to look at captions. We tend to find ourselves looking at reels, or we tend to find ourselves looking at stories. But even then, we're not engaging as much as we used to, right? So that's kind of a brief timeline, a brief look at where we've been with Instagram and where we are now. And yet, I am finding myself consistently having conversations with clients and with members of the community about the fact that we do not need to post every single day to Instagram. And it seems like it's this ingrained, like, oh, I've got to post every single day. And then we pull a bunch of content ideas out of thin air that may or may not have to do with our business and really help our business in any way, shape, or form. And we put them out there just because we have to, right? You might have noticed a lot of people moved towards static grids. That is really common now because why put in the energy and the effort for feed posts that aren't going to get seen, aren't going to get viewed? What's the point, right? Those are more and more common, as well as just a lack of interest in showing up on Instagram. So that's where we're at. What I want to talk about is, instead of posting daily, instead of this, oh, I have to post daily, I have to post Instagram, I have to do this, have to do that, what is working? Here's what's working best for my clients right now: pairing organic Instagram reels with Instagram and Facebook ads. And I know ads are super scary. I am scared by ads. And they're really not something that I would recommend anyone using until they have an offer that is tested. I was like, what is this word? An offer that's tested and proven, essentially. But what is working best is using Reels with ManyChat, ManyChat. This is an automation tool. If you've seen anyone post comment this keyword or these couple of words below and I'll send you this thing. That's ManyChat. And it's this automation that you set up where if someone says this keyword on anything, send them this direct message that also sends them this link. And that is how I am seeing my clients and also just non-clients. You're seeing so many people using it, right? You've probably seen it happen. This is what we're seeing people do to market organically on Instagram at this point. These work best with reels because reels are engaging. People are looking at reels more likely. And you don't have to stop and read a whole caption with a reel. You're able to just watch the video. And so it's more engaging and it's more of a scroll stopper. So people are using Reels with ManyChat. And then they're also, if the reel does well, they're then running ads to it and sending it to a cold audience or a warm audience or whatever their strategy is. That is what is working best. However, what if you aren't interested in ads? It would still be worth it to play around with using Reels and play around with using ManyChat. What I would suggest and what I'm seeing work best is using ManyChat for your freebies. That seems to be the easiest conversion for people because they're free and it's a really simple yes, right? If you've got a freebie that people love and that converts well, use that, set up a ManyChat for it or however many you have, and create reels for it. Now, here's what you don't need to do with these reels. You don't need to post every day. In fact, you could get away with posting once a week. Give me one quality reel a week. That's going to do so much more for your business and for your marketing than trying to post every single day and just coming up with something out of the blue, or just coming up with literally anything you can think of. One strong reel a week. Now, there's so many people out there who are sharing how to create great reels. I am a simplicity focused marketing strategist. And so my suggestion would be film B-roll and stick some words over it. With a lot of my clients, this is what we do. We have just a whole Google Drive folder full of B-roll that we then use and we put together with trending sounds and, words over the top of the video, the B-roll, and it works great. See a lot of success with it. That to me is the easiest way to do it. But if you want to see massive success, go find someone who specializes in reels and can teach you how to create really beautiful, amazing reels because I'm not your girl for that. I'm here to help you create a simple and cohesive marketing strategy. But that is what we're seeing working with Instagram right now. Now, that being said, I do want you to stop and ask yourself, is my audience on Instagram? I had a call recently with someone who was posting every single day to Instagram and frustrated by a lack of traffic, but their audience wasn't even on Instagram. And that is not only is it frustrating, and as business owners, there's enough that frustrates us. There's enough, it's hard being a business owner, right? And so we don't need to add more to our plate, right? We don't need to give ourselves more ammo for those feelings. Um, we we should be making sure that the things that we're putting our time and energy towards, especially with our marketing, um, we want to make sure that we're doing things that are actually going to reap benefits, right? And so ask yourself if your audience is even on Instagram. And if it's not, throw up a static post, call it good. Especially for the time being. If you have a whole team and you can, have someone posting all of this content for you, great, that's a different story. But if it's just you or it's you and a VA, Instagram may not be where you need to be right now. And so that's something that you need to consider actively as well is this the best use of my time? Is this where my audience is actually showing up? And is this really worth what I'm putting out there? Is this worth the time that I'm spending on creating this content? Am I getting a return from it? Am I actually growing my email list? Because that's the thing. Really easy to make sales on Instagram. It's still possible, 100% still possible. It's not necessarily easy to do any longer. And so my suggestion is that, again, ideal scenario, you're creating one reel a week. The ones that perform well, you're then running ads to cold traffic to grow your Instagram audience and then using that Instagram audience to grow your email list. Ideal world. Take the ads out of that equation and you can still create those great reels, use them to grow your email list. That should really be the goal of your social media at this point is to grow your email list, talk about your services, talk about your offers, still sell, but know that realistically you're just creating touch points through those selling moments and you're likely not going to actively make sales from that. Not impossible, can definitely still happen, which is why you want to do it. Um, but most importantly, build up that email list. So, okay, that is what I have for you today. That is what I would do and what I am doing with my own business. What I'm suggesting clients do, stop posting on Instagram every single day. Focus on one really good quality reel using ManyChat. They have a free version. I recommend the paid one because with the free version, I think you have to go in and set it up for each individual post versus if you have the paid version, you can say any Instagram post where someone comments this thing, send them this DM. And it's a one-time setup. Worth it. And I think it's $12 a month. Don't quote me on that, but I would recommend getting that, posting that one quality reel a week, send people to your freebies with that reel, and grow your email list. And then show up on your stories 3 to 5 days a week. Show your face, talk, sell, share the behind the scenes of your life, and build that know, like, and trust factor. And stop worrying about posting every single day on Instagram. If you have any questions at all about showing up on Instagram strategy, marketing strategy in general, go ahead and leave a comment, ask away. I will come back and answer it for you. I'd be happy to do that. And I'd love to know, how are you currently showing up on Instagram? So let me know in the comments with that. If you like this video, please be sure to like it and hit subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you back here next Monday, same time, same place.